let's start the discussion today for the ATX for December 23 exam session. Just as part of my general knowledge, can I ask you guys when you attempted your TX? That just purely from my knowledge purpose. Ah, that's nice, Mehman. What about you, Hassan? When you completed your March 20, so that's not too far late, within the same year. That's good. So let me share the paper format with you. Then we'll talk about further about the ATX, more granular discussion about ATX. So paper format, there are two sections. One is section A, second one is section B. In section A consists of 50 marks, one question. Section B consists of 25 marks each question, and there are two questions. So how the marks are divided over here is in the in the ATX. I don't know whether you are aware or not. There are some technical marks and there are some professional skills marks. Out of the 50 marks in section A, there are 40 technical marks and 10 professional skill marks. And in section B, 20 each multiply by 2 because there are two questions. And as part of professional skills, 5 each multiply by 2. So as in like two questions. So in total, there are 80 technical marks and 20 professional marks in total. That's how this total makes up to the 100 marks of paper. And just to share with you, an update with you, these professional marks are increased to 20 from uh, the June 23 exam session for ATX. Previously, it was used to be only 4 marks. If I take your feedback, if I hear from you guys, in your opinion, increasing the professional marks from 4 to 20, would the difficulty level of exam would go up or would it go down? What's your opinion? Just an opinion from your side. I, I would not say difficulty to be increased. Rather, I would say the expectation of the answers to be more in a professional way is increased. So I'm not saying it's difficulty increased or decreased, but I would for sure, I can comment like the expectation of examiner for you guys to respond professionally is increased, because previously the 4 professional marks that's mainly belongs to the writing side. But now the professional marks is not only limited to the writing side, it covers other aspects as well. One thing. Second thing, increasing the marks from 4 to 20. Again, it doesn't only the focus of the examiner, the focus of the ACCA for professional exams is not more towards writing. Now it's more towards how to write rather than what to write. So the more focus is towards how to write the answer rather than what to write in the answer. So here the expectations are you should plan your answer first appropriately, then answer your question rather than read the question, start writing the answer. So more focused. So that's a shift in focus. Uh, One of the objective I can tell you is to expect students to answer more in a professional way rather than we are sitting in professional and writing in an unprofessional manner. So that's like basically the increase in the expectations of the examiner, right? Uh, by the way, post having the discussion on these lines, professional marks. I hope, Hassan, you would be a bit familiar with these professional marks as like you just mentioned that you have recently attempted the AFM paper. So you would be a bit familiar with this, but I like to have a discussion from a ATX perspective. The professional marks are basically on the demonstration of following skills. What are those skills which examiner expects you to demonstrate? The first one is communication. The second one is analysis and evaluation. Third one is skepticism. And fourth one is commercial acumen. And one thing examiner has explicitly stated that in the section A to demonstrate all four skills or full skills will be examined, whereas in section B, whereas in section B, there will be a combination of professional skills and obviously relevant to the question, or you can say the situation, right? But one thing examiner has explicitly stated that this particular skill, like the commercial acumen, which I have put asterisk with this will not be examined in section B. So in section A, you will be observing all four professional skills, which is like communication, analysis, skepticism, commercial acumen. Whereas in section B, out of these three, the combination of two skills will be examined. So that's dependent upon the scenario, the situation, the question, which two skills will be examined. So taking a pause over here, and before I continue further, I like to hear from you. Uh, what does the communication like? What would be in the communication skill? What would be in the communication skill? If I ask you, if I hear from you, okay, that's good. That's good. Any feedback from you, Hassan? Any feedback from you, Samuel? No, no feedback. Okay. Um, Communication is basically how the right answer should be written. For example, use of proper headings. For example, if there is a report which you are supposed to write, whether you are following the contents of report or not, whether you are concluding appropriately or not, your drafting and writing skills in the communication. Analysis and evaluation. So what will be in the analysis and evaluation? Analysis and evaluation is basically, sorry, analysis and evaluation is basically, uh, for example, which option is beneficial, which option is not beneficial. Since you guys have just shared, like one of both of you attempted the F6 not too long away. So analysis is like, for example, carry back of loss versus current year adjusting, or you can say, for example, the tax planning thing via a can is beneficial or operating via a scam in the form of salary or in the form of criticism is kept. So critical thinker means while answering the question, do not consider only one aspect. While answering question, you should imagine, like you should consider uh, the information. You should have a questioning mind while reading the information. Like, for example, if a person is high rate taxer and paying a tax of, let's say, 1,000 or 2,000, if a high rate taxpayer, how her tax amount is so low. So this is part of the uh, this is basically part of the skepticism. So have just give me a second. Mm, so I was discussing like uh in as part of skepticism, what should be skepticism piece. I'm audible properly, right? Am I audible? Thank you. So as part of skepticism, basically it is it is uh having a critical thinker. So let me write over here, critical thinker, or having a questioning mind. And even as part of skepticism, so let me share a line with you to give the example of skepticism. So if in a given situation there is a situation of IHT, For example, there is a situation of inheritance tax where the statement says, like I have calculated the IHT amounts this, but I have not included my main residence in the IHT because I assume main residence is exempt from IHT. So is it something which is correct? Like main residence is exempt from IHT. Now, here the professional skepticism comes into play. Is the main residence really exempt as part of IHT? The answer is no. Main residence is exempt from IHT subject to occupation. Like if you have occupied your main residence, that would be exempt under the PPR. But by default, it's not exempt under IHT. So if it's covered by the RNRB, then it's fine, but it's not exempt. So it's taxable. You are supposed to consider it in your state, but if the conditions are met, then RNRB would be available. Covered in RNRB is a separate thing, but it's not exempt. So this is the skepticism element. Last, not the least, commercial acumen. What is commercial acumen? In your opinion, if you feel like inconvenience in typing, you can unmute yourself and write your answer and speak to your answer. What is commercial acumen in your opinion? Any idea? Any idea? Commercial acumen. Mm-hmm. So a good point, Ayman, but that's perfect. So one word I can define this commercial acumen element is commercial acumen is considering a 360-degree view. 360-degree view means do not consider only the tax aspect. Do consider the other aspects as well. Like you should consider the non-tax matters as well. For example, if anything is causing operational difficulty, you should consider that. If anything is causing uh if there is anything which is beneficial from tax perspective at the moment, but later on it can create a liquidity issues. I hope you understand the liquidity issues, the cash flow issues. So that is basically the commercial acumen. At times it is possible something in absolute tax terms is costing you more. Something in absolute tax terms is costing you more, but from a liquidity perspective, that is beneficial for you. So you would be going for that because that's a liquidity aspect as well, which you need to adhere. So these kind of things are referred as commercial acumen, like having a 360-degree view, uh, having a business mindset. So do not think in a silo of tax person or tax guy only. So that is basically the commercial acumen. So this is a very broad discussion on the professional marks. I'm not like this is the first and the last time we are discussing for the professional marks. That's a broad overview on the professional marks. We will be discussing, we will be covering the professional marks and other discussions again, but probably being the first class, I keep my discussion very brief and very concise for the professional marks. Anything if is still not clear to you guys? Happy to hear. Anything anyone of you want to ask? Or can I move further? Um, Perfect, Hassan. What about others? Um, Samuel, Umayman, Samuel, anything from your side? No? Okay. Just to share one further update with you. In these technical 80 marks, there are 5 ethics related marks. There are 5 ethics related marks. So uh, ethics in the ATX is not new. Ethics in ATX is same as the one which you have been studying in your probably FBT paper, audit paper, and any other paper. So ethics is like 5 fundamental ethical principles, and the 5 fundamental 5 fundamental ethical principles are integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence, and due care and professional behavior. So all of the ethical principles are there, even the threats to independence, familiarity threat, intermediacy threat, education threat, self-interest threat, self-review threat, all the threats are there. What change over here? Here, the key change is basically your capacity to think would change, because previously you were following all of these things in capacity of tax consultant, let's say. But sorry, previously you were thinking all of these things in capacity of auditor or finance guy, etc. But but here your capacity to think would be a tax consultant. So here you are supposed to think according to a tax consultant. So not with respect to auditor or anything. So you need to adhere with all of those ethical principles in capacity of tax consultant. One thing. Second thing, in these 80 technical marks, 5 marks belongs to ethics. 5 marks on average is on VAT. So 5 marks on ethics, 5 marks on VAT, 20 professional marks. It means that tax specific marks are only 70, which you guys need to learn, because professional skills have to learn, but that's not the technical aspect, you know. Uh, Samuel, I'm looking to your comment now. Sometimes it's difficult to remember all of these in one exam. In an exam, in addition to the technical questions, considering its time pressure. So yes, I agree with your statement. But uh, if you keep revising this at least in your last uh, 2 to 3 weeks of exam time, then it will be memorized and become fundamental to you. So it would not be very much difficult for you then. Do you have to answer all of the questions accurately before you can pass the ATX exam? The answer is no, because if you are answering all questions accurately, then then you will be securing 100% marks, which, so I do recall once my student secured 98% in ATX, 99 in TX earlier, but I really don't recall anyone securing 100% marks. So yes, there are room for errors, but the room is has the room for errors has a maximum capacity of up to 50%, because if your error exceeds 50%, then your accuracy would become below 50, which is not acceptable by the examiner. Uh, Anything further on the paper format? Anything further on the paper format? So, Mehman, the answer is yes. VAT is only for 5 marks, not more. But again, the VAT is like important topic. That's 5 marks. So someone can think only 5 marks, and someone can give a huge weightage to these 5 marks. Can be either ways. So you want VAT to be of more marks? Is this the case? Yes, that's easy. I would not disagree with you, but there are some new, minor, not too much, minor new concepts in VAT as well. But again, if you feel VAT to be easy, so it's like I can congratulate you in advance that you got at least 5 marks. That you only need to manage 45 more then. Okay. Heading towards the last discussion for today, being the introductory class of ATX. Uh, this is the planner which I would be following and request you guys to follow. Let me guide you, walk you through over this planner. So this is, yes, Samuel. So that's not allowed. Like to work as an auditor, ACCA is compulsory. What which papers to opt in ACCA? That's never ever the question. So you can still work as an auditor whether you have not selected triple A. So probably your question to be precise is this. Even you can work as a tax consultant without clarifying the ATX. So technically you would suffer. That's a different thing. But if your question is towards eligibility, so you are eligible. So my answer to you is, if your question is to be exact, that someone has not attempted advanced audit, can he become an auditor? If I'm not wrong, to be exact, this is your question, right? So the answer to this question is, legally, yes, you are eligible. Legally, yes, you are eligible. You will suffer difficulty professionally, that's a different thing. But legally, you are not allowed to work as an auditor. You are legally not allowed. You are legally not allowed to work as an auditor. So you can work as an auditor. In the same way, if you think, can I work as tax consultant if I not attempted ATX? So the answer is to become a tax consultant. ACCA is condition. Qualifying ACCA membership is condition. ATX is not the condition. Okay. Okay. Coming back. Now, topics to be covered. So this is a weekly planner, a 10-week planner, out of which I expect you guys to cover the entire syllabus in 8 weeks time. In 8 weeks time, uh, the sequence of topics should follow this one approach. We will be having a weekly class. This class is basically, I will be addressing the queries plus exam questions practice. So these are the things which we will be doing in these classes. This is the class time which we will be following. Important thing to highlight further is two classes, that is general queries session. Here we will be discussing the ethics related issues as well, plus the tax planning also. And in the last class, that will be revision class, exam question practice class. Here the main focus would be on how to write the answer. Here I would be guiding you guys on how to write the answer properly. We will be using the platform to answer our questions. Uh, Date at the moment for this thing is not final, time not final, but this class will happen. This is for sure. So anything on the approach from your side? Anything on the approach from your side? Uh, or anything anyone of you want to ask? Guidance on the method, that how should we proceed with the kit. So answer to you, Aman, would be a good question. Answer to your question would be, at the moment, proceeding towards the kit would be a bit difficult, because in ATX, the problem is the questions are not linked or based on any one particular topic. The questions are based or linked with the multiple text areas. Like in F6, the good thing was, for example, a question belongs to capital gains, that would only contain capital gain, nothing else. If a question belongs to inheritance or income tax or corporation tax, that would only contain uh, corporation tax or any one particular topic. But here in the ATX, the problem is one question does not belong to any one particular dedicated area. One question can have capital gains, inheritance, and any other smaller area as well. One income tax question can have some capital gains and IHT aspect as well. One corporation tax can have a question on income tax as well. So this is how the questions are like too much divided into different areas. And I would not be wrong in saying that, like in time of TX F6, there was one text planning question, right? The text planning question, if you observe this, the text planning question is basically divided into a huge area. Like you cannot predict which area it belongs to. part, it belongs to multiple areas. At times, it spreads into 3, 4 topics, right? The same is the case with the ATX questions. Generally, the questions are too much divided. And to cover that up, what I advise to you guys is do refer to the book. To Hassan, the answer I would not, I really don't want to say, but the answer is yes. So that's why, sorry, that's why from your exam kit perspective, once you are done with the individuals related area, sorry, a lot exam kit questions opens for you. Okay. And to maintain your practice, what I advise you guys is from the book, keep covering the illustrations, examples, or test your understandings. This thing will increase your retention and will support you in more clarification of the concepts. And the more you practice, the things will be more easy, convenient for you to memorize. Right? So this is basically, to be exact, uh, the pointers which I want to sum up or share with you in the first class. If there is any particular thing you want to ask, please do let me know. Uh, Else, I am good to close considering the introductory class. And we can uh, connect exactly after 1 week on the next Saturday. Yeah, for sure. So again, that's the like my side suggested or recommended plan. So it's not like that's the any Bible thing which you have to follow. So if in any particular week you are like, I'm done with this topic, I want to move to next, yes, you can move on the next. Like you can pace up yourself, you can move to the next. But what I advise to you is please cover it in this sequence, because else the problem would be in the first class, for example, I will be doing the exam question relating to this topic. And imagine if you have covered the income tax, then you will be getting bored in the class. So, and for example, in on this particular day, if we would be having a class, my exam question and queries would be primarily focusing this thing. And you have covered, for example, corporation tax, you will be getting bored. So that's basically the idea of the planner and the only uh, point to follow that. Else, that's perfect if you not follow this steady plan. Perfect, Hassan. Any further question? Any one of you want to ask? I would love to hear the questions from you, if any. So, to Umme, let me tell you this thing with my ACC experience. If you do not study properly, every ACCA paper is horrible. But if you study the paper properly, any of the ACCA paper properly, then all papers of ACCA are passable. So none of the paper is like not passable. That's the honest feedback. And that's not only limited to ACCA, that's with all of the exams I have encountered, be it ACCA, be it ICAW. If you study with dedication, then every paper is doable. So to Hassan, what I suggest to you is, if you go in onto the portal, it is basically it is basically two types of notes are available. One is unannotated and one is annotated. I would suggest you to take a printout of unannotated ones and do annotate it, do write on the blank notes, unannotated notes while looking for the lecture. This approach will support you to enhance your practice, and this will increase the memorization. So the notes which you make during the lectures are quite enough. If you don't mind, can I ask the last question from my side? Can I ask the last question from my side? Is any one of you working anywhere? Hmm. That's good to know. Um, Noted, Aman. Perfect, perfect. So that was like just for the general knowledge of myself. So anything further, or can I say goodbye to you guys for today? Perfect. Thank you, Hassan. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, admin. Uh, Once again, apologize from my side for being late today. I try my best not to get late afterwards. Take care to you guys. Enjoy your Saturday night. Goodbye from my side. Allah Hafiz.